Hello everyone, welcome to another stock market update. I am recording this on the 22nd of July. So where are we with the markets? Well, this shows you the PE ratios of some of the biggest American companies, and you can see green means relatively undervalued, financials again, and some of the energy stocks. We're also seeing some of the pharmaceutical companies, which is always good. In other words, profitability is holding up. And the share price is low relative to that. Now, that's not a reason enough to buy because, of course, there are concerns about profitability going forward. If there's a recession, the banking sector would take a hit, and that's why it might be showing up as green. So let's not just look at one factor that relates to stock price movements. Let's look at another, which is momentum. This is the past week. Have we hit a bottom? Well, that's what a bottom would feel like. So it certainly looks okay at the moment. Doesn't mean we'll get a V-shaped recovery. Might just get a slight upward glide path. But that's pretty good going. And again, energy, good. Financials, good. So much for the worry about valuations being low because of recession concerns. The momentum wouldn't follow through if that was really the concern. So we've got two boxes ticked, valuation and momentum. Can we tick the third? Only really in energy. This is price earnings growth ratios. We want those to be below 1 to be undervalued. So it's a measure of the share price relative to the rate of growth of earnings. And what you can see there is it's only really energy, which, as I say, ticks the box on that one. So where does that leave us for everything else? The S&P 500 weekly chart continues falling, got a bit of a base here, starting to rise. Now, under normal circumstances, if I was only looking at the weekly chart, I'd be buying the S&P at that point, but I'm not just looking at the weekly chart because I've also got to look at the monthly. And unfortunately, on the monthly, this is still dropping quite sharply. Doesn't mean we won't have hit a base, doesn't mean it might not flatten, but it does mean I need to see a bit more than what I'm seeing at the moment. How does Apple look? Similar story, still falling, so that leaves me somewhat concerned, and I don't want to get in too soon. Microsoft, what about the story there? Microsoft, well, again, still falling somewhat, so I have to give it more time, I'm afraid. And similarly with Amazon, the monthly MACD, which is here, still dropping, so I'm afraid I have to give it a bit more time there. Okay, you can see the buy ratings. B is the buy ratings. Meta, similar kind of story. So like I said, I'm still waiting. Costco, which I like, as you will know, and PayPal, sorry, those drops still mean that's where we are with it, I'm afraid. Okay. Let's carry on. Now, these are just a selection of other companies, and you can see, again, if that's falling, then we're having to wait. Qualcomm comes in the news quite a bit in terms of a company which is hitting a lot of the right, or making a lot of the right noises and so on. You can see it's been doing rather well, but because of that MACD, I've got to hold off. Johnson & Johnson probably continue going flat, and I think the reason why a lot of hedge funds own it is because at least they won't lose their money and they're still exposed to the markets. Katera rose up, fallen back. So not so good when that happens. Similar kind of story over here with Halliburton and Marathon. Also, a lot of these are going sideways, treading water, and because that MACD is overbought, we just have to play the waiting game. Whereas Occidental has actually started showing downward pressure now because that monthly MACD actually very much starting to fall over there. So that's one where it actually is not necessarily looking phenomenal in terms of going forward, and certainly not a no-brainer. I'll show you a few more. Anything that says to me, oh, that's definitely bottomed, I'll let you know. But not much. Now, we haven't finished. We're only halfway through. Don't forget my campaign for $1million.com to teach 1 million people how to be better investors. Let's just get through the rest of it. Well, the positive news is analyst share price forecasts show extreme optimism. Analysts tend to be extremely optimistic anyway. And you can see the Russell 1000 aggregate price target based on analyst estimates and the Russell 1000. There's a big gap there. And that gap, as measured by that ratio, is not at all-time highs, but certainly at the higher end, which suggests that, well, either analysts start becoming more pessimistic or stock prices start rising. I suspect stock prices start rising will be more likely than analysts getting pessimistic. What's the earnings backdrop here? Well, 2023 profit estimates for S&P 500 firms That's in black, and in red, the S&P. And profits are holding up, and that's very different to what's often happened in previous market routes. So that's positive. Just showing that PayPal from a different perspective here. And what's more likely to be a trajectory for it there. I've shown this before, and that's where we are updated. Don't forget, not that you would. If you're not doing anything on Wednesday and Thursday, join me out in Spain for my 2-day summer school, investing and trading. Great investing and trading, no less. Enough of that. I'm going to run through some of the pips predator advantageous trades. So the trades where we're looking for the next signal, okay? And that's one of them, and there's a few more. Okay, and you can see the names here and the time frame, Amazon 1 hour. So these are the ones which have been our favorite time frames, and they probably will continue for the week ahead. So make a note of those. Speaking at the Virtual Money Show, July 26th to 28th, virtually, because it's the Virtual Money Show. So I'll be in Spain at the time, but I'll be speaking at that. The details are on my Telegram channel. Okay, again, Analyst Calls. You can see here of some of the big companies. They think Peloton, Uber, and Novavax are likely to shoot up, to double up, if you were to follow what the analyst price target is compared to what the actual share price is. So again, going back to some of those trades and what we're looking for the next signal on using our pips predator indicator, we're keeping an eye on these. So that's Canadian dollar, Swiss franc. There you go, 30-minute bars, or loony Swissy. That's sterling, Swiss franc. Anyway, I'll run through. You can make a note of these. If you're using my pips predator indicator, you'll know these are the ones to keep a very close eye on, because we feel that for trade selection, the trends are smoother, and therefore when we get the next signal on this, remember the yellow line tells you where the trailing stepped stop losses, and the dotted line is where we'd add to our winners, not take profit, add to our winners. Okay. If you don't know what I'm talking about, have a look at pipspredator.com, pipspredator.com. US dollar, Japanese yen, 30-minute bars, Facebook or Meta, smooth trends on the 1 hours as well. They've been rather good overall. Doesn't mean every single trade is a winner, but there've been some rather good ones. Thank you all very much. Hope you liked that relatively quick weekly summary. Thank you very much. Look at the links in the bio and and do all the rest of it to make sure you keep getting these. Thank you.